Hello, welcome to Try Animes. It's another week, another roundup, weekly roundup of anime figure releases from AmiAmi. We'll start with this is going to be from the 6th of Feb going up to the 11th. Although they didn't have anything released on the 11th, there's only from the 6th to the 10th. So we shall start with on the 6th they released Dracuriet Arena Oligovna Arene 1/7. 3 tiers of this with different bonuses. I'm not familiar with this figure. It looks quite nice though actually overall, and the price is not too bad. 24,200 yen for this is the most expensive one with the highest amount of bonuses. Bonus you get this one. It is cast off apparently, with a smiling face part for the lower edition, for the limited edition, and then an exclusive bonus is a tin badge. So the basic set will include the main base, main figure, and just the base. So the variations are, I think, the chest, the clothes. Yep, there we go. So you can have front portion exposed with no skirt as well, which is quite nice. It's not a bad looking figure overall, but I'm not aware of this character at all, I'm afraid. So there's not much I can offer in terms of advice, but for the price, it's not too bad. Expected to be released in November 2023. Then we've got Love Live X Sora Toku no Plum Deep Land Nico Yazawa 1/7. 22,000 yen. So that is not too bad a price again. Not obviously you're paying for the main figure. I'm not don't know Love Live. The figure actually looks quite good overall, but it is a sort of bog standard cutesy girl in a school uniform. Although with it being more pink and frilly rather than blues or greys, so it's not too bad. Clear base, but for the price, there's not much you can moan about really. Not familiar with this character at all, but not too bad. One that I would recognise is Azure Lane B-Style Slow Ahead Baltimore in a school uniform. This one looks like very nice. She's quarter scale, so there'll probably be a lot of people if they're interested in Baltimore. They probably would get her, and I think they've done the see-through, like the wet t-shirt effect very well compared to a lot of other couple of other figures that have done a wet t-shirt effect. They're not so well because it looks like they've actually done the shading, so where there's the creases, the material's thicker. So they've painted it that way, so it actually looks much more realistic compared to them just doing an opaque plastic mold around. This costs 36,300 yen. It's quarter scale, so it's not obviously bunny, which is kind of good, I guess, because there is a lot of bunny figures and there's quite a few Azure Lane bunny figures coming out or that have already been released. This is expected to be released in October 2023. If this is one of your favourite girls from Azure Lane, then it might be worth getting her, especially if you want to get the quarter scales. She's a very nice figure, and they can do the paint jobs very well in terms of the shading, so I have no issues with the paint job. Very unique style, B style. Then we get into two Fate Lead figures. One is Two-Way Hertz. I know so one's Lesbian von Eisenberg and Chloe von Eisenberg. So both swimsuit figures. Not too familiar with Fate Lead, or the Fate series overall really. But if you like these characters, then you've got two swimsuit versions of them out, and you can get them together, or put them together. Combine the base. It looks like. It looks like this. I guess it breaks apart on the front here, and then you could put the other base and the second one onto there. I don't know how you would do it, unless if it's a specific version, or if this comes with the extra bits. Doesn't mention anything like that, but they are 19,360 yen each from AmiAmi. August, so they're available if you're after and interested in them. Then you've got Cheer Girl dancing in her underwear because she forgot her spats. By who's this one by? Don't know. But this one is a cast-off figure, and yeah, it'll be one if you like cheerleaders or have a cheerleader collection. Might be worth getting. And it's cast off, as you can see. It's a very simple figure. It is quite expensive though for what it is. And I've not heard of this manufacturer. No details about the manufacturer, I'm afraid. Okay. But this one is the bonus one where you get looks like 2 cut cards. One's probably an explicit one, which is why probably that one's cut off, and then one which is more of the art is based off of. So not too bad overall, I think. But yeah, simple see-through base, so you'll know if you like it or like it, or if you're going for specific tan girls or tanned figures collection, tan characters, or with tan lines, then this would be one worth getting. If that is sort of the way you're going with your collection or part of your collection. Azure Lane Prince Urugan Unfading Smile 1/8 for 15,740 yen by Wave. It's an Azure Lane figure. There's quite a lot of them coming out. This one is pretty simple. For the price, it's probably actually really good. I think that there's not a lot of shading though on her skin, so that might be a bit lacking. You probably prepare buying her again if you want to just add her to your collection, or if you want to a complete series of Azure Lane and have one of each girl who's represented in your collection, then this might be one of the cheaper ways to get one into your collection with it, if you're not particularly attached to this character but do want to complete your Azure Lane figure series, or have an entire one of each girl who's represented in your collection. Even though there's so many coming out, you might not be able to, you can't really match them, unfortunately, in terms of scale and what art they're based off of, which is kind of annoying. So if you you can't have them all matching together, unfortunately. So, but since that isn't possible, then this is a good way to get at least Prince Ugan in for not too much, 15,740 yen, especially with the price increases going on. And then you got TV anime Komi-san for 1/7 by Wave for 21,580 yen. This is a very nice figure. I've not seen the series, but from the art I've seen and the fact that they include both faceplates as well, I probably would run her with her sort of muted faceplate. I think it is an unrated series, and I do need to get around to watching it. But it does look very nice. The hair looks very nice with it going sort of more opaque and see-through at the end on the tips. But apart from that, obviously the rest of it's sort of, and the leggings have got quite good shading. But the school uniform is very simple and plain. Not a lot of detailing. But for the price, it's probably about right, and I think that's the way she's drawn in the anime as well. Her school uniform doesn't have a lot of detail. It's more of obviously the art style and the story that drags you in. So she might be a good might be a good girl for you to have in your collection if you're interested in her. B-Style Darling in the Franxx Ichigo Bunny version, 1/4 scale by Freeing, 33,000 yen, which is probably going to be the new norm now for your more bog standard or skinnier girl quarter scales by Freeing, since there's less plastic on obviously her figure being a lot more narrow and slender compared to other figures which have more ample assets available on them, so which they'll generally be more expensive. The hair shading is very nice. Bunny suit is very simple though. It's freeing. You know you're going to have a good paint job. If you're like Darling in the Franxx and you want Ichigo, then it might be worth getting her. Especially if you're doing a bunny style collection. Her 02's figure from Freeing I think is a lot better than this, unfortunately. So I don't think she should be worth 33,000. I think she's more of a 20, like sub 30,000 figure. So she might actually go on sale after release, depending on how many people actually order. Pre-order's still up, so I'm guessing it's not selling super hot at the moment. But you can just give it more time and see if that gets any better. So it's just a bog standard bunny figure, really. Pretty simple, very unimaginative. It's not much freeing. I wish freeing would do more, but I guess there's not much that she has in terms of props in the anime that they could have added to the make her a bit more dynamic. So, yeah. Fate Grand Order Berserker / Minato no Local Travel Portrait version, 1/7. By Max Factory. It is a single shipment, so unfortunately you can't combine it with your other. If you pre-order for that month, so November, you won't be able to do it. So unfortunately, you'll be shipping it separately. That's unfortunate. For it only being 1/7, but I guess the figure is quite a large. She looks amazing herself. The dress looks great. Great color scheme. I like the detailing as well as the on the dress, and the hair looks amazing. Lots of hair. So the shading on the hair actually looks really good with the shading. It's Max Factory, so they might have it could be hit or miss in terms of the color. You'll have to see what the final outcome is actually like. But this of her Berserker in a China dress is actually really nice. It would be one I would get, but I've got a lot of figures coming out in November that I might have to cancel anyways. But she looks very nice, actually very good. For 28,800 yen, probably is worth it. I think the only problem people might have a issue with is is this like fabric. I don't know what they call it, but this obviously looks like it's actually made of fabric that you have to add in yourself and run it behind her arms and stuff to get it over her arms. I guess they couldn't do a plastic piece, otherwise it would have a joint probably in the middle behind her back to hold it together, and it would be hidden by the hair. That could be very awkward to place. So I can understand why they did it. It's just obviously it sort of draws away from the fact that you've already got all the detail actually on the figure itself, painted on. So yeah, I would get her if you're into Fate and you're big into the Fate series and like this character a lot. She's very nice, very good pickup. Super Sonico Paisur Bikini version, 1/6, 18,310 yen. It's a Super Sonico figure in a swimsuit. Simple base, with just a different bikini skin. There's quite a few of her, I think, with different variations of the bikini that she wears. So it's pretty good, both by Kaitendo. Don't know much about them. I expect that probably you will do maybe a tan version of this at some point as like a second release to sell more, depending on how well this sells. There's obviously a lot of people who like Super Sonico, but there's a lot of them out there on the aftermarket as well that you can get that might be better overall. Especially this one's 18,100 yen. It's not too bad in price, but it is a very simple figure. But it is Super Sonico, so I think she'll sell reasonably well. Senran Kagura New Wave G Burst, rate 1/5, 27,720 yen. Two versions in a gold and a red. This is a very let down figure for me. Detailing's too bland. I think they're just relying on the Senran Kagura name to help sell it, and it being a very attractive figure to men like me. But yeah, it's a bunny style figure, 1/5 size. It's just too plain, and for the price, 27,000 yen, when you're spending 6,000 more yen, you can get an actual freeing bunny quarter scale. I don't think these are going to sell very well. I think the price of these is going to tank really hard, I think, on the aftermarket or just after the launch. So, and it's July, so I wouldn't even bother getting these, the 4 versions in red or gold. It's nothing worth. Yeah, it's just not very good buy in my order. You can get other figures for this price range, which are 1/7 scales. Yes, they're smaller, but they have a way more detail in them. 10th of Feb was very interesting because they did a lot of re-releases from earlier in the run, so we'll go over those. And a lot of the re-releases, some of them actually have different colour variations from the previous release, so we'll go over them as we do. Chainsaw Man Power 1/7 by AmiAmi in collaboration with AmiAmi, 27,500 yen. For what you're getting is not a lot. There's a reasonable good paint job on the hammer, with it being dark at the ends and for the shading and whatnot, to show it being blood, obviously formed of blood, so it's not too bad. But Power herself is a very bland colour palette. It's not very muted. There's some shading on the shirt in the front, and there's like the detail's quite nice. I think overall the detail's quite nice, but like I don't know, like the skin's pretty monotone and one-dimensional. It's just a very flat colour apart from where the knee joints are. That could just be from it with it being bent and then applying the paint to it. It's naturally a little slightly shaded. The hair's very bland. Looks like it's all one colour basically on the hair. Yeah, the hair's not really anything special. And then obviously just her horns are just very shiny red. So I think the blood effects aren't too bad in the colouring. It's a very pastel, I guess, colour, so colour palette. It's not too bad, but 27,100 yen. I think there are other power figures that are probably going to come out, or that have already been released that are better. So it's not too bad. If you want a power figure, it's worth getting. But it's not something for me, I'm afraid. Jujutsu Kaisen Itadori version. So this is Itadori with lots of effect parts all over. It is a DX figure, so it's I think their deluxe line, but Mega House deluxe line. So there's a lot of extra detailing going on. It's a very nice looking figure, 37,400 yen. It depends whether they can pull it off in terms of as close as the E-Stream. Like obviously it looks very nice here, but then obviously these are edited photos, so a lot of the supports would have been cut out, and they're taking them from angles that show off, that not showing off the supports obviously for these effect pieces. And you've got the black lightning effect, and then these wind shockwave effects going around him. So it looks very good, and he's shaded very well. So I have no problems with the paint job or the model figure overall. I think it's going to be very good, and it could be a very good centerpiece for a Jujutsu Kaisen figure. The price is probably about right for what you're getting, so no complaints here. I think it's good, and it'll probably go up after the open after market as well. It's whether enough people buy it, I suppose. If there's more left over in stock, then it's and there's a single shipment, so you're going to have to pay for that. Single shipment separately, you can't combine it with any of your other orders for July. Oh well. Princess Connect Redive, Makoto, summer version. Very nice figure. Princess Connect series, they're getting quite a few models now, figures, so I'm hoping they'll be doing more. I like the Princess Connect Redive, the Princess Connect figure anime overall. This looks quite good, and the water effect on the chest, the see-through clothes, is quite good. It's not as good as the Azure Lane B-Style we looked at earlier, but it's still very good, and I like the extra detailing with these belts, rather than it just being a simple swimsuit or beach dress figure. So for 25,500 yen by Ring, yeah, I think it's worth the price. And then you got Arknight Skadi the Corrupt Heart Elite 2 version, 1/7. There's two versions. There's this, the deluxe one, which comes, I think, with a giant effect base behind it. So if you're big into Arknights, this might be a very good centerpiece for your collection. And to give you a size comparison, that's a Pepsi can or a canned soft drink. So it's about three times the height of a canned soft drink, and it's 5 cans across in width with it being vertical, so that's a huge amount of space it takes up. And it's a single shipment. The size warrants that. Paint job's going to be amazing. It's by Mythos. They've done fantastic work with all their figures. Paint jobs have been, from what I've seen, their paint jobs have been great. So there've been no issues. So this will be worth getting if you're really into Arc Knights. And then they just do a standard version figure of just her by herself, which is still very nice. The water effect on there is very nice, and the base is very nicely detailed. And it's 22,000 yen. This is a lot better in terms of what you're getting, and effort Mythos put in compared to other manufacturers that sell figures for 27, 28, 29,000 yen. Even some freeing figures. Obviously the scale is different from freeing, but yeah, this is great. Both these versions I can highly. Uzaki-chan wants to hang out. Double Tsuki Uzaki. It's an Uzaki-san figure of her in a sweater. I think this is her mother, knitwear. Yeah, this is Uzaki-chan's mother. So definitely, it's quite good. Simple figure, 17,400 yen. You know if you want it, so not bad. Yeah, pretty good. By Kadakawa, they're going to do a good job painting it and producing it. So I think it's good overall, but you have to like Uzaki-chan. Or be quite heavy into Uzaki-chan, or don't have her figure in your collection. Or this is Uzaki-chan's mother. Sentence of a Bookworm, Rosemi 1/7 by Stronger, 31,160 yen. This is quite a lot. The gold looks very nice on the figure, and the paint job on the whites actually looks quite realistic, with it being darker and more shaded around the waist, and then more light towards the ends. So actually looks quite good. So I have no problems, no complaints there. They do another version with this elaborate base for an extra 5,000 yen. So probably would be worth getting this one. At least you're getting a bit more. It'll look more appealing rather than just having her Rosamine on a clear space. And I think the background piece sort of adds, with it being gold and all these extra jewel bits and whatnot, showing her, obviously if you've seen the anime, her magical power. So I think you get a bit more, it relates to the anime a bit more, I think, overall. So it's very good. And you got Pop-Up Parade 2, Chainsaw Man Himeno and Kobani. The Pop-Up Parades, if you want to get Chainsaw Man figures but don't want to spend loads of money, then I'll get these 4,000 yen each, just over. It's a good way to start, but it is, with it being a Pop-Up Parade, they're a bit hit and miss. It's good smiles, so hopefully they'll be alright in terms of the paint job. These are obviously pretty simple figures, but that's what you get for you pay for. So that's nice to have, at least to have some representation, especially with Kobani. It seems like there's a lot of people that want, either like her or don't like her. So some people might want the figure, or some people won't like the figure. I think she's a bit of a Marmite character. Moen dress version, illustration by Kishi Yasuri, 1/7 scale, 24,400 yen by Hobby Sakura. This is a very nice figure of Moen in a Chinese dress, so looks very good. It looks like you compare it with this other character, and yeah, I like it very much. With the fact you're getting a chair as the base, means you can sit it on rather than just having a round base. You might be able to fill it in a bit more easier in your collection on the shelf. So it's very nice. Mo Shoujo Misani spacesuit version, Star White. They released the her spacesuit version only in Jan, so this is a recolor of it. It's the exact same apart from that. It's just the recoloring of the figure. Of 23,000 by 320 yen by Q's Q. If you like her, then get her. Comes out in March. Sales period from February 27th. So yeah, no, this looks very nice, and it's cast off. It's another extra colour one. This is the time I got kind of slime naval bunny version. A lot of people got this figure. So I think there'll be a lot of people that will be getting this one as well. It depends whether you think that you like the extra colour compared to the original, or the recolor, I think they say, or extra colour. So it's quite nice. Probably worth getting. 17,980 yen is quite a good price for what you're getting, considering a lot of people actually bought the previous version, and I think the aftermarket's gone up quite a lot on her, so it might be worth getting her as well. Toho Project, the Express Poker Face, Kokoro Hanato. Don't know much about this figure. The dress looks very unique, very Halloweeny. I think you'll like this figure if you like it. It's not my cup of tea, but I think the dress, the skirt bit is very unique. That's what you'll be buying it for. I think is if you like the faceplate and like the character, you'll know if it grabs you. 20,680 yen. It's a good price as well. Q's know what they're doing when they're doing painting as well. Spice Morph Hollow exclusive extra colour version. So again, there's another one extra colour that allows people to at least get a hollow figure, Spice Morph Hollow figure, if they weren't able to get the original one, the previous one, for 18,480 yen. I think a lot of people will probably be getting this. So yes, and it's Spice Morph Hollow. I have no complaints. The paint looks very nice. It's Q, so it'll be very good. Maitsu Pure Station Hachigaruku exclusive extra colour, 1/6. Don't know much about this one. It's by Q. Oh, okay. Yep, so it's cast off. It's 21,780 yen. If you couldn't get a hold of it previously, you can get a hold of it again. So, yep. Tamagami Kana is Slime Shion changing clothes. I've actually got the previous one on pre-order. It should have been delivered in Jan, but then there was an import issue, so it got sent back. So I've got to get it repackaged and resent back to me. But yeah, this allows you to get hold of it again if you weren't able to get the previous one, for 16,280 yen. I think it's slightly more this one than the previous one. I think it was 14,000 yen. The one when I paid for it. So yep, that's good. Shion, if you like Shion, then you probably want to get. That's why I got the previous one, the non-extra colour. That rounds up this video, and please subscribe, comment, and give me feedback of what you think I could do to improve. Thank you very much. See you next time.